Shabbat Shalom, and welcome back to this study here in Light to the Nations channel. It's a blessing, like every week, to be with you all, studying the Word of YaHuWaH, sharing this time together in Shabbat, in this special day. And we are so glad to see you all here in the chat. We were just taking a look before starting in the comments. We were not aware about the new storm that happened last night. And we praise YaHuWaH that you that are living in this area and that area they're safe, and YaHuWaH has been protecting you all. You know, it's we have been talking here for a few days already that it's interesting how things are happening so fast. How, you know, the world is going crazy in so many aspects that I don't know. I think that's true evidence is that we are living in those days, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's time for us to get closer, even closer to YaHuWaH, to sometimes to get rid of the day-to-day, or the focus on the day-to-day, and to get into, I don't know, and priority in our days is to get closer to YaHuWaH in order to have His protection. And we know that we have nothing to fear about it, no matter that from our human point of view and our human mind, sometimes we are in fear. But if we trust in Him, you know, everything will be okay. What do you think?
That our expectation on Him, of His protection, should be higher than our fear. Yeah, everything. Once I heard that there is no problem that is, I don't know, so big that Abba cannot solve it or help you, or He is the biggest thing in our life, so He is always going to be there for us in our time of need. And sometimes I feel, and I know that I have shared this with you and with some close friends, that I feel that when He's doing that, those difficult moments, those difficult times, is because He needs us close. And those are the moments that we need to realize about that. He wants our prayers. He wants us to be near to Him. And sometimes that is the only way that maybe He's getting the result in our lives. Because as human beings, you usually tend to forget Him when we are in a good, I don't know, having a good time, maybe enjoying, and we tend to forget Him. So I think that this is necessary, and this is necessary to wake up the rest of the people who at this moment doesn't know Him yet. So I think that is the important thing. So if you know somebody who is really going in a tough moment, well, we must pray together. We have to pray together to let them know that we have somebody, that He is taking care of us, of each of us.
You know, I think I have no doubt that we are in the period of tribulation that started already a few years ago. We are not in that time yet of the great tribulation that I think is coming soon. And, you know, I was thinking this morning that the tribulation period is not the wrath of YaHuWaH. So if we are seeing all this happening and we know what's coming ahead, and we understand that that's not the wrath of YaHuWaH, we don't want to even imagine what's going to be His wrath. You know, that's why it's so, His promises are so beautiful. You know, I think it was Peter Kefa that wrote that we are not appointed to wrath. And that's true. He's coming with His salvations, and He's going to protect us, because we are not appointed to wrath. But we need to be, I fully agree with you. I think there are two things that we need to start doing it. And it was part of the discussion we had with my parents the other day. I think the time of preparation already passed, and we have not prepared ourselves in every aspect of our lives, especially emotionally, spiritually. but also physically, it's time to start running and to do it faster. But the second point is exactly what you said. I think in this time is the most important one in order to be the witnesses and the servants of YaHuWaH. You know, there are so many people in blind in darkness that they don't want to listen, or they have not been able to receive the good news in the way they should receive it. That is our duty to do it. And that's the meaning of being a light into this world, is that we need to, in parallel of doing any type of preparation for the days ahead, is that we need to bring the light of the kingdom of YaHuWaH into the people that are in need. And we have been talking about this in the past, is that YaHuWaH will put the people in our ways. The people that are in need, and the people that somehow YaHuWaH is directing and guiding us to talk to them, he is gonna put those people in our way. So it's up to us, and we were talking about what I'm gonna say early today. It's up to us to take responsibility on what YaHuWaH has assigned us to do. If he has been guiding us to serve him in a certain way, we have to do it. If not, he's gonna skip us, as he did it with the King Shaul. So it's important that we have a responsibility that we need to take it seriously. That and I think that's the most important thing in this time, is that we need to spread the word. I'm not saying that you need to go to the streets and to need to speak publicly about the word of YaHuWaH. Unless YaHuWaH is guiding you to do so, you have to do it. But YaHuWaH will put in your heart specifically what you have to do. YaHuWaH will put in your way the people you need to talk to. And in the same way, he is going to help you in preparations for what's coming ahead. You know what? For some reason, I put this slide, and you saw that I was doing it just a minute before the starting. Some of you will remember this. You know, it was part of the study of the end times, and there is no doubt, you know, that the fourth horses are running in our time. You know, I did this timeline several years ago now already. And back then I was saying that we were in the times of the third and fourth seal. And I think those are becoming really red in these times. The falling away is just a matter to see what's happening in society, how Christianity is going in a totally different direction to what the YaHuWaH has teach us in his word. And I don't want to put all Christianity in the same bag, because there are the true Christians that maybe they have not received the entire truth of Torah and the ancient path, but they have a true love for YaHuWaH. So we need to be respectful, and we need to be cautious when we talk about Christianity, because there are the true lovers of YaHuWaH within Christianity that they have not been able to see the full truth yet. But there are certain areas of Christianity that they are going totally falling away from the truth. And it's just to see what's happening in society, that you know, all the values of society, especially in Western society, that has been founded in the scriptures, are totally forgotten, are totally done away. So the falling away that the scripture has been talking about, we are living in those days. And just a matter, you know, what's happening today in terms of the economic collapse. This is something that was foreseen for many years. It's happening already, and what's coming is gonna be really bad. You know, I have been seeing this week for me, job has been very, very tough.
Yeah.
In different aspects. And this is something that I have, we have been talking here. It is that the world is falling away in different ways, in all the angles that you see. Maybe in some areas is much worse than others, but there's nothing peaceful, nothing calm when we look around in every aspect of the day-to-day life. And this week has been tough for me, especially because of the macroeconomic situation, what's going on. It's much more difficult to manage things and to do things considering what's happening in the economy and what's coming ahead this year and next year is a profound change that we need to be aware of, but with the eyes of not with the eyes of fear, is with the eyes of a watchman on the wall, understanding the times and sounding the alarm. As we were talking, we need to prepare ourselves, but also we need to sound the alarm and to bring the light to others. So I think this timing are being fulfilled, and we need to be prepared because, YaHuWaH is bringing it's becoming a reality. YaHuWaH is converting his word in a reality in our days. We are seeing prophecies being fulfilled before our own eyes, and this should be a call for action, a call for the alert. I like more the call for action. An action, what's the type of actions? It's the actions of preparation of our heart, preparation of our mind, preparation of our spirit, our emotions, preparation of our families, but especially a call for action in order to fulfill our duty as part of the servants of YaHuWaH to bring his light and to bring his truth. Let's share what I was telling you the other day. I was reading the scriptures, now that we are talking about this. And
when you were saying that every aspect is kind of, crumbled or falling apart, it reminds me about when Yahushua was in the temple, walking in the temple, and he began to turn the tables, and like cleaning all the place. I think that is something like that is going to happen, and it's happening right now. So everything is trembling a lot. It's shaking.
Absolutely. I think this is exactly what's happening. I found, I was reading the scripture the other day. We're gonna make it much shorter, just to focus on the portion. And I just landed in the book of Yirmiyahu, when Jeremiah is being commanded by YaHuWaH to buy the field of his uncle. And it was in the middle of the distractions and the siege that Babylon and the Kasdim were doing against Jerusalem. And it was a prophecy. It was YaHuWaH bringing somehow expectation and hope to the heart of Yirmiyahu, and through him to the people, that no matter what was happening in front of their eyes at that very same moment, he was saying that the lands, houses were going to be built and be bought in the future in that place. Meaning that he was bringing restoration after the destruction. He was bringing peace after the storm. So, and that should be our own expectation in these times, that the world as is working today has been created so far. needs to be removed, needs to be destroyed, needs to be transformed in order to do it again, in order to restore it again. And this is exactly what YaHuWaH will do. And he's expecting that we should start preparing the ground for that. And preparing the ground means is preparing ourselves, preparing others, and to think that we need to have an active participation on the restoration of all things. So in the same way that Jeremiah was seeing everything being destroyed around him in the city of Jerusalem, he had the expectation and the promise from YaHuWaH that he was going to restore once again Jerusalem, and that's the same expectation we have in this time, that he's going to restore all things, not only Jerusalem, he's going to restore all things. But we need to be working, as I said, preparing ourselves and doing our part. So
Well, you have something else.
yeah, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I think we need to pray for one another in these times. I think we need to keep everybody in prayers. We hope that the better weather is coming to the States. So you are going to pass this time of storms and so on. And we need to look for protection in YaHuWaH, no matter where we are. We see things happening in every part of the world. As I said, the alarm of war is sounding for a long period of time already, and we don't know what could happen. So that's why we need to pray for one another, and we need to have our emunah, our faith, and our hope up here. Understanding that if we are under the wings of YaHuWaH, we have nothing to fear. We have Him protecting us, but we need to be under His wings. Meaning that we need to be close, very close to Him. If we are not very close to Him, we are not going to have full protection.
Yeah.
He's our insurance.
Yeah, like an umbrella in a storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to have a good insurance. We need to be very close to Him in order to be protected. So, having said that, let me share another word. And for those of you that are celebrating this week, Chag Hamatzot, Chag Sameach to all of you. I hope that you have been, though the situation externally is not looking good, we need to keep these times with joy in our hearts, and we need to do it understanding that everything is for Him and is coming, and He is the one deserving all praise and honor. We were keeping Pesach the other day, and we were remembering that giving thanks to Abba because He is the one that allow us to see His truth, and to have the honor to be part of His covenant, and to have the honor to be keeping these things that are the amazing foreshadows of things to come. So we saw one thing during the celebration, but before sharing that one, I want to share the passage with you that maybe I'm still going through some doubts about the when to keep the feast, about the calendar, if I'm in a wrong the dates and so on. I think all of us, I have to say this openly, all of us are having this kind of thoughts, and I do believe that as I have been saying in the past, is Yahushua HaMashiach Himself, if not the two witnesses, the one that are gonna put us, all of us, in sync on the same dates and the same calendar. And I mentioned something the last Shabbat, and I think it was the following day that I found this scripture, just opening the word, and let me put it here in the screen. And I hope this is bringing somehow shalom to your hearts. Here. So that is totally aligned to what I was sharing with you last week. So let me go to the book of 2 Chronicles. This is the Divrei Hayamim in Hebrew, chapter 30th and verse 17. And this is an amazing story of this king Hiskiyahu when they were celebrating Pesach after they were restoring all things in Jerusalem. And there is a specific passage here that is a beautiful picture that is totally connected to, for us in these times, that maybe we're having doubts if we're celebrating the right day or not. So let me read it. It says, it's talking about the Pesach, and it's talking about the people, it's talking about the Kohanim, the priests. It says, let me start in the verse 16. And they stood in their place according to the right ruling, according to the Torah of Moshe, the man of Elohim. The priest sprinkled the blood from the hand of the Levites. For many in the assembly, and listen to this, for many in the assembly had not set themselves apart. Therefore, the Levites were over the slaughter of the Pesachim, for everyone who was not clean, to set them apart to YaHuWaH. And remember, there's a part in Torah, if I'm not wrong, in the book of Bemidbar, Numbers, that there's a story of people that were unable to eat the Pesach because they were not clean. So that's why YaHuWaH was opening the door to celebrate Pesach in the second month for those people that were unclean.
Yeah.
So basically the commandment is that we need to be in a clean status in order to participate on these things. And this is exactly what's happening. The people were not clean. So let's continue reading. For many of the people, many from Ephraim, from Manasseh, Yisachar, and Zebulun, had not been cleansed, yet they ate the Pesach, contrary to what was written. But Hiskiyahu prayed for them, saying, YaHuWaH, who is good, provide atonement for everyone, who has prepared his heart to seek Elohim, YaHuWaH Elohim of his fathers, though he is not cleansed according to the cleansing of the set-apart place. And YaHuWaH listened to Hiskiyahu and healed the people. So there was one thing that was a priority. And we need to understand that it's mentioning part of the law, the 10 lost tribes. That if you read the entire story in the chapter 30th, you will see that the word Hiskiyahu, the king Hezekiah, was sending people to call everybody, not only the people of Yehuda, also the people of the northern kingdom, to come to Jerusalem and to celebrate the Pesach. And it says the story that a lot of people from the northern kingdom was mocking the people sent by the king, but some of them listened from those tribes and came back to Jerusalem to celebrate Pesach. So what's the most important thing that YaHuWaH saw in order to heal the people and listening the prayer of the king? He saw that the people was truly seeking from his heart to keep his commandment. That they were coming back. That they were with the desire on their hearts to keep his commandment. Maybe they were not clean or cleansed according to how they should be, but YaHuWaH saw their hearts, that they wanted to obey him. And that's why he healed them.
And somebody was praying for them.
So what's the connection to what I'm saying? Maybe we can have so many doubts in these times about if I'm keeping the right calendar, if I'm in the right date. I think it's important. I'm not saying the contrary. I think it's important that we need to study all things, that we need to pray to YaHuWaH to reveal his entire truth in order to understand and being totally aligned to his timings. That should be the desire of our heart. But while we are not having the entire truth the most important thing is that we need to have the true love for YaHuWaH, that we want to keep his covenant, that we want to serve him with all our being, that we want to love him with all our heart, and we need to do all the effort and every effort with every corner of our from ourselves in order to serve him and to keep his covenant. And if we do so and we pray to him saying, Abba, forgive me if I'm not doing it in the right timing, he will listen to us and he will cleanse us. He will heal us. So if you're still having doubts, I hope this word is encouraging you, because and again, we need to do it with all our heart without keeping aside the desire of studying these things, without keeping aside the desire of understanding his full truth. We need to do it. But again, how beautiful it is that the YaHuWaH is seeing in our hearts that the top priority is the desire here within us to serve him, to love him, to keep his covenant, to love him by keep his commandments in the best way that we are able to do in these times.
Compassion.
He is full of compassion. And in case you have not been celebrating Pesach yet, I want to share with you something that we were reading the other day, that we find it really interesting. And actually, Jewish tradition, they used to drink 4 cups of wines during Pesach as a remembrance of
the promises.
What they said, the 4 promises that is written in the book of Shemot. And actually, we were reading it, and I don't know if I've mentioned this. I was mentioned this in the past. I have some memory that I maybe mentioned something in some of the short videos of the Modim. But even if I did it, I'm gonna repeat it. If we go to the book of Shemot, actually Jewish tradition is basing the 4 cups of wines and the 4 promises related to the 4 cups from this passage. But the good thing is that we found actually 7 promises. And
it's even more beautiful.
And I think it's more beautiful because it shows us, I think, the plan of salvation and restoration through the hand of Yahushua.
And step by step.
And it's a step by step how you are going from phase 1 to phase 7. And this is the entire process somehow. So let me share it with you. And if you are preparing yourself to celebrate Pesach, maybe this is a beautiful reading, something you can do during your celebration. And if you already did and celebrate Pesach, is something to meditate about for this. So it is in the verse 6. Let's read it entirely. I think it's a beautiful reading. It says, "And YaHuWaH said to Moshe, now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out of his land. And Elohim spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am YaHuWaH, and I appeared to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, and by my name YaHuWaH was I not known to them? And I also established my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojourning, and which they have sojourned. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Misrites are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the children of Israel, I am YaHuWaH, and this is the first promise, I shall bring you out." So first promise is to bring us out from under the burdens of the Misrites. Second promise, and I shall deliver you from their enslaving. So deliverance. First is to bring us out. Second, deliverance. Third promise, and shall redeem you, redemption. Third promise, with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Fourth promise, and shall take you as my people. So the fourth promise is that he is going to take us as his precious treasure, as his people. Next promise, the number 5, and I shall be your Elohim. In Jewish tradition, I think they're taking this as one. We see it as two. First, he's going to take us as his people, and as soon as we are his people, he will become our Elohim. So, promise number 6, and you shall know that I am YaHuWaH your Elohim. What's the 6th promise? That we are gonna
to know him.
We are gonna be able to know him.
I think that is the most beautiful thing, because before it was like everything together, like I don't know, like a mixed thing. But now every part of the process is like that.
Yes. So first to take us from the world, from slavery. Second, to bring deliverance to us. Then to bring redemption. Then to take us. Then to be our Elohim.
And we call him our Elohim.
Yeah, and after that is to know him.
Yeah.
And the last promise after we know him, it says, and I shall bring you into the land, which I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give to you as an inheritance. The last promise and the final one is after we know him, after all this process, that he is going to bring us into the land.
We are still in the number 6.
We are still in the process with the opportunity to know him and to know him better in order to get into the land. Though I do believe that this entire process is going to happen physically, because we're experiencing spiritually with the salvation of Yahushua. You know, he's taken us from a world of sin and darkness into his kingdom of light. But physically, this is going to happen as well. So this last promise is going to be a physical promise, and we're waiting for that time that he is going to make it a reality for all of us. And it's so beautiful that it's 7. It's the perfect number, is the number of YaHuWaH Elohim. And the last promise is to the inheritance, is the inheritance of the land. So we wanted to share this with you, because of it's a beautiful picture, just for you to meditate about it, just for you to share this with others. It's just to enjoy and feel your heart of joy from YaHuWaH for everything that he has been doing for us, and his beautiful promise for his people. So let's move ahead and let me share the song that I was listening this morning. I think it's a beautiful one, and then we will continue with the portion of today. So here we go.
ומחליפו לי בשלך, למד אותי שוב ללכת אחריך, להתקדם בקצב שלך, למד אותי שוב ללכת. ניסיתי ונכשלתי, בזבזתי את הזמן, ואתה לא הפסקת לחכות. חיכית כי חפצת, לא ויתרת עד היום, ועכשיו אני מתחיל לראות כמה אהבה, כמה סבלנות, שמלך העולם יחכה לנו, כמה ענווה וכמה עדינות, שמלך הכבוד מחכה לנו. אני חוזר אליך, מבין שיש עוד מה לגלות, פקח את עיניי לראות את שפספסתי, חשבתי שידעתי הכל, אפקח את עיניי לראות כמה אהבה וכמה סבלנות שמלך העולם יחכה לנו, כמה ענווה וכמה עדינות שמלך הכבוד מחכה לנו, כמה אהבה כמה סבלנות שמלך העולם יחכה לנו, כמה ענווה כמה עדינות שמלך הכבוד יחכה לנו, הוא מחכה 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 לנו, מחכה. חיכית כי חפצת, לא ויתרת עד היום, ועכשיו אני מתחיל לראות. גילית לנו אבא, גילית כי חפצת, לא ויתרת עד היום, ועכשיו אני מתחיל לראות כמה אהבה וכמה סבלנות שמלך העולם יתגלה לנו, כמה ענווה וכמה עדינות שמלך הכבוד מתגלה לנו, כמה אהבה וכמה סבלנות שמלך העולם יתגלה לנו, כמה ענווה כמה עדינות שמלך הכבוד מתגלה לנו, תתגלה לנו ותתגלה לנו, תתגלה לנו ותתגלה לנו, תתגלה גילית כי חפצת, לא ויתרת עד היום, ועכשיו אני מתחיל לראות. גילית כי חפצת, לא ויתרת עד היום, ועכשיו אני מתחיל לראות. אז אני חוזר אליך, מבין שיש עוד מה לגלות, פקח את עיניי לראות, לראות את שפספסתי, חשבתי שידעתי הכל, פקח את עיניי לראות.
Should be our prayer always that He is opening our eyes, because we have so many things to discover And there are many things to discover and more as the time is passing by. So let's pray together to YaHuWaH before starting the study. YaHuWaH Elohim, we want to give thanks to you in this time because we can feel your presence in our heart, because you are an Elohim full of compassion and full of love, and your promises are faithful because you are faithful. And part of your promises is that you are going to be among us. We seek you with all our heart, and we are here together, no matter the distance, with the desire of our heart to praise you, to acknowledge that you are the only true Elohim, with the desire of our heart to seek your truth and to know you more, to get closer to you. As the time that we are living, we see so many things happening and unfolding. We see the world falling down. We see some of the people falling away. And we see so many things happening around us. Things that maybe can move us to feel fear or to have anxiety of the coming days. We can feel in the bottom of our heart that shalom, that joy. If we just close our eyes and close our ears to the surroundings, and we just focus on the Ruach you have put within us, we can perceive that shalom, that expectation, and we can feel your presence. And we want to give thanks to you, Abba, for that. Because no matter that maybe we can be in the middle of the storm, we can feel you in our heart. And we can embrace that expectation, that hope that you bring to our life. We pray to you in this moment that you can strengthen us, that you can open our eyes, open our ears, open our understanding to comprehend your truth, that you can open our heart in order to be in your presence daily, in order to seek you daily, in order to take hold of your hand with all our strength, knowing when we follow you and follow the step of Yahushua, there's nothing to fear, because we can go through the valley of the shadow of death and nothing will harm us, because you are the one protecting us. And not only we ask for protection, we ask for strength, and we ask for the outpouring of your Ruach in this time, in order for those signs and wonders to follow us as we fulfill our purposes in your kingdom. The world needs you, your people need you in this time. And we want to be true servants in order to bring your light into this world in the way that you have purposes for us. Listen to our voice and to our prayer, because we believe in you with all our heart and we wait in you continually. Strengthen us, give us the strength to face any situation. Give us the strength in order to fulfill your purposes for us, in order to do your will, in order to endure until the end. Bring healing to your people, to the hearts of your people. I pray for our brother Will. I just saw the message a minute ago. is going through difficulties, bring restoration to his heart, as well as to any of your children around the world that is going through difficulties. Bring protection and bring restoration, bring hope, bring joy and shalom, Abba, because we depend on you. And we like to depend on you because you are the source of everything. Guide us in the study today. Bring your truth. Put your words in our hearts, our minds, in our mouth, in order to speak your truth, in order to know you better. Thank you, Abba, for listening to our voices and for being among us with your presence and your Ruach. We pray to you in YaHuWah's name. Amen.
Amen.
Man. So let's move on. We have not talked nothing about the portion. But, we need to let the Ruach speak. That's the way to do it. So let's listen to the portion 60 seconds and let's see what the Ruach is bringing today.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 Seconds. Today's portion is from Leviticus 6:1 through 8:36. It is called Tzav, which means command. God tells Moses to command Aaron and the priests about the rituals of the sacrifices. The burnt offering must be burnt until morning. Ashes placed outside the camp, the fire was to stay lit. The meal offering was presented before the altar, a portion of it burnt on the altar, the rest eaten by the priests in the tent of meeting. The sin offering was slaughtered, burnt, and eaten in the tent of meeting. If blood was sprinkled in the tent of meeting for expiation, the entire offering was to be burnt on the altar. The guilt offerings were slaughtered, blood dashed, entrails burned, and the meat was eaten in the tent of meeting. The priest kept the skin. The peace offering, if offered for Thanksgiving, came with unleavened cakes. The meat had to be eaten on the day that it was offered. If offered as a votive or free will offering, it could be eaten for 2 days. Unclean meat was off limits. Fat and blood was off limits. The person offering the peace offering had to present the offering and its fat themselves. The whole community gathered at the entrance of the tent of meetings for the priest's ordination. Aaron and his sons were now official priests. To complete their ordination, they remained in the tent of meeting for 7 days. And that is Tzav in 60 seconds.
Tzav in 60 seconds. So let's go to the portion. Let me put the scripture here in the screen. It's not this one. So let's go to the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter 6. And I think you are going to read it, right?
Yeah, but first I just wanted to say, because last week I read the commentaries of the chat after the day after, and it was a kind of debate, or they were not debate, a discussion about the sacrifices, and we didn't read the on time. Okay. So I just wanted to say, but from my point of view, from what I understand, that is true that YaHuWaH, he gave us that way to ask for atonement, to ask for restoration, for being pure again. And the idea is that when we do it with something that is really precious for us. And you have to imagine that during those times, what it was the biggest riches that they could have, it was the food, it was the animal. That was the riches that they have from YaHuWaH, the sustain that they have for their lives. And the idea is that once you were doing it, is that you were changing your ways, that you were not going to do it every single year just because of tradition or just because you want. No, the idea is that you are going to improve. Mm-hmm. And for me also, the idea of the animals, it represents something that is very valuable for you, and what are the meaning in your life. For instance, with the bull, that the bull has a lot of strength, is the thing that is going to help you with the things that you need to do with force. So that is what it means for us, that all the effort that we have to do, maybe in the heavy duties, for instance, with the sheep, is give you the wool, the clothes. So is somebody who is going to, I don't know, maybe provide clothing or warm to somebody who is needing
Especially when they needed to give the best of the best.
the best of the best. And I don't know, the milk of the goats, if you look the birds, what their purpose is to take the seeds from one place and put it in some other places, and we don't even know, but they are the one in charge of spreading the nature, maybe, and taking care about the trees, the seeds, and everything. And when we thought about the grain offering, is the bread that we have, the food also. So I think that is what is talking to us, what we are sacrificing, what we are providing. So it's a very beautiful representation if you seeing that from that point of view, and not from the point of view of killing, but we were also talking about that. Maybe it was even a kind of control, or to how we can say that it was not control, but it was like,
No, I just remember the point you want to make. Yeah.
that it was we don't know, maybe the animals, they reproduce in a so fast way that Abba thought that it was kind of way that we could help, maybe, I don't know. So just
Birth rate control, something like that is what you want to say.
no,
It's just population control.
no,
but
in the
it's
good
for a
way,
good purpose.
but a good purpose. And we know, because if like we are going to get angry because of a lion is eating an animal, YaHuWaH, he creates the world in a way that we don't understand from our perspective, but we know that his ways are the.
It's exactly as Yurion put in just in the chat. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills.
Yeah.
He is the owner of everything. He
Yeah.
decides what to do, what not to do.
And the issue is that
Everything belongs to him.
we cannot say, well, this is wrong, because it's coming from him. So we need to see it with his eyes, and then we are going to understand.
Absolutely. And this is something, has been, I know that the offerings, the sacrifices and so on is a topic in itself, is sometimes difficult to understand. And it's also a topic for so much debate, okay, and discussion. And I'm going to bring more discussion with what I'm going to say, but if we read carefully the book of Ezekiel, when Ezekiel received this amazing revelation of the temple on the chapter 40 onward, he's talking about the restoration of the priesthood. He's talking about the temple that I think everybody believes, and one of them is that is a description of the temple of the kingdom. It's mentioned in those chapters, restoration of the sacrifices. It says that the king, it says that the priest will bring sacrifices even during the Moedim, in the same way that it's been written in Torah. So when I read this a few years ago for the first time, I started to wondering if all this offering system is going to be restored as part of restoration of all things. And I know that this is bringing so much debate because of what does it mean with the offering of Yahushua as a sin offering? It's supposed to remove all the offerings. And I don't have the answer. I have my thoughts on this, but the point is that what I see is that in Ezekiel, I see in other prophets as well, in other books, that these offerings are going to be restored. And if we look into this in the way that you have explained, and it's something also we discussed in the Virtual House Church in the past, is that these are kind of I don't remember how Rob put it back then. It's a kind of reconciliation meals or food for reconciliation, something like that. This is exactly that, because we're bringing the best of what He's given us, and we are to bring it to His presence in order to partake of them. With him, with his servants, the Kohanim, with everybody that is around us. So that should be bringing joy to our hearts because we are doing it close to Him. So more than the focusing in the killing the animal is just to think on what happened in the wilderness. They were they have so much desire to eat meat, and I think most of the people like to eat meat. And I want to go into the rabbit trail because we can start talking about a lot of things about that. What was the diet on the Garden of Eden and so on. But anyways, He's given us the possibility to eat that meat, but doing it with a greater purpose. And what that greater purpose is to partake with Him, to do it in a set apart way, to do it with a great purpose in order to enjoy what He has done for us and what He's given us.
That's nice, because today I read a scripture and it was saying, everything you eat or drink, do it for the glory of YaHuWaH, in order to praise Him. Yeah, so it's with that purpose.
Okay, so let's move on. Chapter 6 of book of YaHuWaH, Leviticus.
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, when any being sins and committed a trespass against YaHuWaH and has lied to his neighbor about a deposit or about a pledge or about a robbery, or shall extort from his neighbor, or has found what was lost and had lied concerning it, or did swear falsely, so that he sins in regard to any of all these that a man does, then it shall be when he sins and shall be guilty, that he shall return what he took by robbery, or what he has extorted, or the deposit which was deposited with him, or the lost item which he found, or all that about which he swore falsely. He shall repay its total value, add 1/5 more to it, and give it to whom it belongs on the day of his guilt offering. Then he brings his guilt offering to YaHuWaH, a ram, a perfect one, from the flock, with your valuation as a guilt offering to the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him before YaHuWaH, and he shall be forgiven for whatever he did that made him guilty.
Yeah, let me just make a comment of something I saw in the chat.
Yeah.
I have seen when an animal has been killed, and I think Karen mentioned something like this. They punch a main artery and they hang the animal in order for the blood to drain. And that's the blood, in my view, and sometimes we have a different point of view on this. We have been getting to a closer point of view. That's the main blood that the YaHuWaH is talking about. For sure, we need to do as much as we can in order to remove any blood, because I have seen some of the comments here that the meat that was in a bag and I saw blood. Yeah, for sure we cannot eat that blood. We need to cook the meat.
Yeah.
But the process, and you see it in a normal way, in a natural way, is that this is the way they are hanging the animal and they're just waiting for all the blood to be drained. You cannot go and take all the blood from the inside the meat. This is something that you need to do later on in the process when you are cooking the meat.
Yeah, so you cook it very well.
Exactly. When you are not, when you don't have you are not gonna eat the meat red as some people do, because it's basically going against the word of YaHuWaH. But what's the most important thing is this, not to, because this is also being taken as a different preparation. When you take the blood, just to eat the blood directly.
Oh yeah.
That's totally wrong. So coming back to the portion, this is important, and it's exactly what's happening. Here it's about the deposit. We know what's happening with the banking system nowadays.
Yeah.
The pledge, robbery, extortion.
Yeah.
And, so
and swear falsely also. And I think that maybe that's a difference.
Lost and found.
And maybe that's a difference, because then we're going to read about the sin offerings and the guilt offering. I think that all of these are related to guilt offering, because it says as a guilt offering to the priest. Yeah.
Most
so
probably, yeah.
I think that is related to things that you can take. I don't know. It's related to being honest. I think.
Just to have integrity, to
Integrity.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
honesty and those kind of things. And we have a perfect example on what is written in the book of Luke and something like that. And it's important to do this type of connections too. Let's go to I think it's chapter 19. Yes. Is the story of Zacchaeus, and we know that he was a tax collector, and we read the verse 8 and 9.
Yeah.
This is what he said. Because we see in the verse 7, and seeing it they all grumble. Why? Because YaHuWaH was to
gone.
his house,
Yeah.
saying he has gone in to stay with a man who is a sinner. And why they were considering him a sinner?
Because he was a tax collector.
But why a tax collector is being considered a sinner?
I don't know. Maybe in that kind of profession, maybe they have some
They were
hidden
charging-
business. I don't know.
They were charging interest.
And they were charging.
And it is written in Torah that we cannot charge interest to all brothers.
Mm,
And second, the practice of the tax collectors sometimes were to
Yeah.
take more money than they supposed to take.
and
And
sometimes
this is exactly
they accept bribes for.
yes, and this is exactly what we see happening and written in this portion. It's about deposit, pledge, extortion, these kind of things. So
And what was his
So
answer?
what was his answer? He said, but Zacchaeus stood up and said to the master, look, master, I give half of my possession to the poor, and if I have taken whatever from anyone by false accusation, I repay fourfold. So he was
Even more.
so touched by YaHuWaH that he was willing to give half of his possession to the poor and to give 400%
Yeah.
in case he had taken something
Yeah.
falsely.
Yeah.
And we see in the portion that is demanding
One fifth.
a
That is
20%.
20%.
Is
Yeah.
demanding a 20% is to give back what was taken plus a 20% and to give the offering. So Zacchaeus in this case was going even beyond elevating Torah somehow, because he was willing to give more than the 20% that was being requested. And that's why I do believe this is one of the reasons that I do believe was the answer from YaHuWaH. Because YaHuWaH said in the verse 9, and YaHuWaH said to him, today deliverance has come to this house, since he also is a son of Abraham. For the son of Adam has come to seek and to save what was lost. Salvation came to the house. Why? And whose salvation is YaHuWaH. I have come to this house, but why? Because he saw true repentance in his heart, and that he was, and what repentance mean is to do teshuvah, to go back to the path, to the righteousness. He was practicing, putting into practice what is written in Torah with a true heart of repentance.
Yeah. And restoring the wrong things that we have done. Yeah.
And the same thing we see in the same book, in the chapter 16, in a parable of Mashiach, when this is the parable of the wrong manager and the bad manager. I don't remember the title that was put to this parable. So I'm not going to read the entire parable, but it's basically a person that was mismanagement, and he was taking more from the people and doing robbery and things, these kind of things. And first time that I read this, it was difficult for me to understand, but how come what he's doing and how is being considered a true thing? But what he did is an amazing thing. So let's read the chapter 16, verse 7, 8, and 9. It says, so this is the bad manager saying to one of the debtors. Then to another he said, and how much do you owe? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said to him, take your bill and write 80. So when I saw this, because he was doing it for all the rest, this guy is lying.
Yeah.
So what's happening? And then it says to the verse 8, and the master praised the righteous manager because he had acted shrewdly, because the sons of this age are more shrewd in their generation than the sons of light. And I say to you, make friends for yourselves by unrighteous mammon, than when you fail, they shall receive you into everlasting dwellings. It's a very difficult parable to understand, but I came to the understanding a long time ago, is that what YaHuWaH was implying in this parable, that this unrighteous manager, when he was telling the debtor to write 80 instead of 100, he was not pushing them to lie. He was covering the 20%. And why he was doing that? Because most probably that 20% was the one that he was taking
before
for him.
Yeah.
He was the one robbing. He was a robber. And now he's restoring what he was owing, what he robbed. And that's why in that way, this unrighteous mammon, unrighteous riches he took, he's using it, not for him, he's using it in order to help the debtor to decrease their debt.
Now he's charging but the just price, the correct one, the right price.
Correct. And using what he robbed in order to be righteous to the other people. That's why you need to read this in the entire context. But this is totally aligned to what is written in this portion. It's about debt, it's about pledge, it's about deposits, and so on. Now, if we take a look in the entire world, how the system currently is working, it's sorry to say in this way, but it's a big mess. It's a balagan gadol in Hebrew. It's a big mess because they are totally opposite to what is written here. Totally opposite. What's happening now with the banks that are failing? I saw the U.S. government is saying that he's going to protect all the deposits. I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to crash the financial system by doing that. But the banking system is not doing so. Instead of protecting the deposit of the people with 100%, they are protecting part of it. It doesn't matter what you have. So just to take this as an example, through the light of the word of YaHuWaH, this is totally going against the commandment of Allah. That if I give you my money or my possessions, so you can take care of this, you need to give it back to me completely. You cannot take anything from yourself. If I go and ask you to give it back, you cannot say, no, I'm going to give you only a 10%. The rest is lost because the system crashed. So when we see all this and on the way that the system is working, it's not aligned to the principles of the kingdom of YaHuWaH.
Yesterday, I didn't tell you about this, but yesterday I live in my own experience, like what it says about the widow that was so happy when she found, I don't know if it was a widow or not, but she was looking for a coin and she was swiping all the plates and everything until she found it, and she was so happy that she was making, I found it. And it was so nice because I remember I went to a place and I went outside of the store and suddenly I'm on the dust because it was not pavement, it was only dirt. Suddenly I don't know why, it was because of the reflection of the sun. I saw something that was shining and I just pick it and I go inside of the store and I said to the girl, well, I don't know, maybe this is somebody is going to ask you in the future if, I don't know what it is because I couldn't even saw it so clear with my eyes. It looks like a medal or something like that. And she was, you found it, where did you find it? And I said, why? Because I lost it yesterday and I was looking in the store and every place. It was something from a bracelet.
Okay.
And the pendant was falling down and she couldn't find it, and it was so beautiful, the face, the hair face. And I remember that I think that this is maybe also why he's telling about this, because you are going to live very beautiful situations when you act, because maybe some other person, I don't know, could go or throw it to somebody, or maybe somebody else could have kept it. But that's not how YaHuWaH is teaching us. Everything that we found,
We need to give it back.
We need to give it back. If we don't know the owner, we are going to give it to the person who is in charge in the place, and we trust that they are going to return it to the right people.
Or you store and you keep it, but if the owner is coming or somebody is looking for it, we need to give it back.
Yeah. But it's for sure that the store was closer to
the store for sure.
Yeah,
But in case there's no store, you find something in
yeah.
the street that doesn't belong to you, or you find something, I don't know, in a car, in a
Yeah,
bus,
and I
or
like
whatever.
to do that, and it's so funny. Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue. Chapter 6.
And okay. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the ascending offering. This is the ascending offering, because it is burned on the slaughter place all night until morning, and the fire of the slaughter place is kept burning on it. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and put his linen trousers on his body, and shall take up the ashes of the ascending offering, which the fire has consumed on the slaughter place, and shall put them beside the slaughter place. And he shall take off his garments and put on other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the slaughter place is kept burning on it. It is not put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and arrange the ascending offering on it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. Fire is continually kept burning on the slaughter place. It is not put out.
So
Yeah, it's like you
Like
have
what?
to worry about this, because it's a commandment that is not put out. It's going to be eternal or continue. So it's a very...
And this is going aligned to what we have been talking in the past, is that is the responsibility of the Kohanim, the priests, to bring what?
The wood?
The wood? Where it is written?
Arrange fire.
Yeah, the priest shall burn wood on it every morning and arrange the ascending offering. So it's the responsibility of the Kohanim to make sure that that fire is not put out. It's always burning continually. So, and this is for the ascending offerings. It's something that they needed to bring. It is written night until morning. So it needed to burn the entire night. And this is the continual offering that they needed to bring morning, night. So I don't know, there's something that we were discussing before, and I would like to hear your opinions as well. Maybe you can put some of your comments in the in the chat. It's about what does it represent, this fire that is always burning? And I have two ways of think, or two possibilities that type of representation.
Like two different fires.
Yeah, it's a kind of two different fires, but the both fires are coming from him. This is basically a two interpretation, more than two different fires. It's two interpretation. So it is written in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy. Let me go there. In the chapter 4, verse 24, it says the following. It says, "For YaHuWaH your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous hell." So one of his characteristics is that he is like a consuming fire. It's the same thing that we see happening in these offerings, in this fire. What was the purpose? Is to consume the offering. Some things were not totally consumed, But in this case, what we were reading is the ascending offering needs to be totally consumed. So yeah, I saw DDK saying that Tzav was present. We see here, yeah, it's part of YaHuWaH himself. He's present. The fire from the incense altar must come from the outer altar. That's true, what Karen is saying. So what Shirion is saying, our spiritual good and offering burn day and night for him. That's totally true. This is what we have been saying, is that we need to keep the fire burning within us. So that's the one of the interpretation that is coming from Abba. And actually,
When Moshe saw in the bush, it was a
consuming fire, but it was not consuming the bush. But this is it's a kind of manifestation of his fire. But he's saying it's a consuming fire. He's a consuming fire. And when we see in the book of Malachi, this is Malachi, we see a reference of the end times. And let me read all of it, because it's a beautiful picture of what we were talking at the very beginning. It says, "For look, the day shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. And the day shall come, and the day that shall come shall burn them up, said YaHuWaH Sebaot, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. But to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall, and you shall trample the wrongdoers, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. On the day that I do this, said YaHuWaH Sebaot." And this is, it's a compelling text, because it's also including the ashes, as we were reading in the other passage. "Remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb for all Israel, laws and right ruling." And this passage has always been taken as a remembrance from YaHuWaH that we need to remember his Torah. But to the light of what we're discussing, we can also say that he is pointing out that all this passage about the burning, about the ashes, is a picture of what is being written in Torah. "See, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of YaHuWaH, and he shall turn the hearts of the father to the children and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with utter destruction." So I do believe that fire, that consuming fire, is somehow the consuming fire of YaHuWaH that is going to destroy everything in order to restore everything. And we see few reference in the Brit Hadashah. Let's go to see what Yahushua was speaking about. I have a reference here in the chapter 13. Let's go verse 41. It says, "The son of Adam shall send out his messenger." And we know that the messengers are a picture of the Kohanim. The messengers are the Kohanim in the Shamayim. We see this in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in in many places in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So basically, he's sending the priests, and they shall gather out of his reign all the stumbling blocks and those doing lawlessness, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. So here we see the other interpretation. What's the meaning of the fire in that altar? It's in order to consume, YaHuWaH being the consuming fire. And we see and this is also an interesting reference, and that has been my interpretation so far of what is being written here in the book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. And this could have a double interpretation too. And again, as I said at the beginning, I can put these two interpretations. One is the fire of the Ruach that we need to keep burning inside us in order to consume every aspect that needs to be removed from us. And in order to have that fire of the Ruach burning in us, in order to bring that fire into the altar and to have this connection with Allah in order to do His service. You know, we cannot bring strange fire. It needs to be His fire. Okay? That's one interpretation. But the second interpretation is the consuming fire at the end times, connected to Gehenna, connected to these kind of things, you know, as we were reading. So what is said in the verse 3 of Luke, chapter 16 and 17, the following. YaHuWaH, and this is John the Baptist, answered, saying to them all, I indeed immerse you in water, but one mightier than I is coming, whose sandal straps I am not worthy to loosen. He shall immerse you in the Ruach HaKodesh and fire. And the typical interpretation of this is that there are two baptisms. The typical one is that the baptism in fire is the same as the baptism in the Ruach. And there are other interpretations that we're talking about two baptisms or two stages of the baptism in the Ruach. Two phases, different phases that we need to seek for both of them. Okay. And let's continue. I'm gonna give my view on this with the passages of the scripture. Let's continue. It says, his winnowing fork is in his hand, and he shall thoroughly cleanse his threshing floor, and gather the wheat into his storehouse. But the chaff he shall burn with unquenchable fire. So he's talking about cleansing, gathering the wheat, burning the chaff. So if I can put it, this is two groups basically: something positive, if I can say it like that, and something not that positive. Something that is bringing life, and the other side is bringing death. And in the first passage, is talking about the two immersion in Ruach and in fire. You see the connections about where I'm going? So let me put it more easily. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 12, when YaHuWaH is speaking about this. It says in the verse 49 the following. It says, I came to send fire on the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. So YaHuWaH is acknowledging that he was sent to bring fire. And he's expressing his desire that I really wish that fire to be burning already. And let's keep in mind what John the Baptist says, that he is bringing immersion on fire. So, but I have an immersion to be immersed with, and how distressed I am until it is accomplished. Do you think that I came to give peace on earth? I say to you, no, but rather division. So, what was the immersion that he was missing? And he said that this immersion that he's missing is bringing distress until it's accomplished. He was going through fire during his captivity, his suffering. So that fire is somehow connected to suffering. And we know that the wrath of YaHuWaH is coming by the hand of YaHuWaH. Is YaHuWaH the one that is going to bring fire on the earth in order to burn everything that is wrong, as we were reading in the book of Malachi? And as soon as he's removing everything that is wrong, he's going to restore all things. So when we are talking about in my view, what I have understood so far is my current understanding that when we see John the Baptist saying that YaHuWaH is the one baptizing, immersing in the Ruach HaKodesh and in fire, when he's talking about the baptism in fire, is exactly what YaHuWaH is speaking here. Is the fire, the consuming fire of YaHuWaH that's bringing destruction over the bad things in order to restore peace with him. And I think this is somehow a representation of what we see in the altar. and let me say something before. Should we seek the baptism in fire with the understanding that I have provided? We should not, because that immersion of fire is basically destruction that he's bringing. We should seek for the baptism in the Ruach HaKodesh, and I think that baptism of the Ruach HaKodesh, maybe, and this is just a maybe, because I don't know the answer, is what you said. Is that fire that was burning in the bush but was not consuming? Is the fire of YaHuWaH, is the fire of the column of fire that was bringing the light in the wilderness?
Maybe it's just destroying only the bad stuff, but
Yes.
the things that are
That's a
pure,
good thought, yeah.
can be preserved on that fire.
It's not going to be consumed
Yeah.
because it's prepared to resist.
Resist that
That
kind
fire.
of fire.
Yeah, it's a good way. So coming back to the correlation, that's what I see. You know, we see the connection with the ashes that needed to go outside the camp. Is the same thing that we see basically the ashes being in the outer darkness. Is saying in the word in most of the words of Yahushua, talking about the end times, the ashes going to the outer darkness. So this is going outside the camp, and the fire is basically consuming fire in order to bring peace and connection and restoration with that person that was doing wrong with Elohim. And you had another thing that you told me. Let me go there into the book of Nehemiah, and this is a beautiful connection to the feast in the calendar. You know, we go in the book of Nehemiah. I think it was on the chapter 10, verse 34. It says, and this is when they were restoring the second temple, in the second temple period. And we cast lots among the priests and the Levites and the people for bringing the wood offering into the house of our Elohim, according to our fathers' houses, at the appointed times, year by year, to burn on the slaughter place of YaHuWaH Eloheinu, as it is written in the Torah. So there is a direct evidence in the book of Nehemiah about this good offering period that we see in the 6th month in the calendar, that the Israel was commanded to bring the good offering. And it says in the appointed time, year by year, it's a yearly offering they needed to bring to the temple because they needed good. The priests, they needed good in order to keep the fire burning continually. So the interesting thing that we don't see any reference in what we know as Torah now, specifically written as a commandment to bring that offering. And that's something that has keeping me wondering for years already, where is supposed to be written. It should be there. We have a direct reference here.
Yeah.
Okay. But indirectly, we can understand that the priest needed wood. We just read it in the chapter 6. So somehow the wood was being brought to the priest into the temple.
It was mentioned when they were bringing all the offering at the beginning, but it doesn't say that it was a commandment.
Yeah. It doesn't say like in the other places that they needed to bring year after year. So let's go back to the chapter 6. So 14.
Okay. And this is the Torah of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before YaHuWaH in front of the slaughter place, and shall take from it with his hand from the fine flour of the grain offering, and from its oil, and all the frankincense, which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the slaughter place for a sweet fragrance, as its remembrance portion to YaHuWaH. Then Aaron and his sons eat the rest of it. It is eaten with unleavened bread in the set apart place. They eat it in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. It is not baked bake it with leaven. I have given it to them as the portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most set apart, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. All the males among the children of Aaron ate it, a law forever in your generations concerning the offering made by fire to YaHuWaH. All that touches them is to be set apart.
What are your thoughts? Is the grain, it's interesting to see that different offerings is exactly as you said. They need to bring offering in different aspects. In this case, it's grain offering.
Grain offering.
And what was the grain all about? And I just remembered I owe an answer to Shirion. I forgot, but now I remember, so I will do it after the broadcast. It's about the grain offering. We are so used in these times that we need bread, and we need flour. We go to the supermarket and get it.
But the process
is living. We have experienced that process. You need to
a complete year.
Sow the seed. You need to wait at least for 6 months in order to harvest the grain. And after you have the grain, you need to clean it and you need to ground it. And after you ground it, you can have flour in order to have to cook bread. So in this case, it's exactly as you said. The grain offering is basically taking some part of what sometimes we think belong to us, but everything belongs to Him, and give it away. And giving something away sometimes is no easy, especially if there's something that
is so precious,
important, precious, and needed. Like food, in this case. Gracias. So I think that's an important thing, because we see YaHuWaH asking us to give Him and give away important things in our lives. Food. In the case of the animal, food and potential clothing. And many things that you can do, products you can produce from the animal itself. So in this case, it's interesting, and the way that I see it is to partake this with the servants of YaHuWaH. And there are so many symbolism here because of the oil, because of the frankincense, because of the fire, and so on.
Yeah, and it has to be on leaven. And what caught my attention is that said that all that touches them is to be set apart. Is that to keep that condition, to be watchful about that. How important it is to be set apart for Him and for all the work that He is. And
this is something that we talked about maybe last week, is that in everything we do, we are the servants of YaHuWaH. We need to be cautious that we are set apart, that we are in a clean status when we serve Him, when we pray to Him, when we do anything related to the kingdom. So in this case, we see the Kohanim serving YaHuWaH in these aspects. We need to understand, as we discussed the other week, is that we need to ask about how we are going to serve Him today, this week, and so on. And everything that He's guiding us to do, we need to be sure that we are doing it, being set apart, being clean, being tahor to Him.
Even now, I related with the thing that when they were doing the service, they have the special garments. And when they were going out from that place, they have to change the garments. So that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's continue.
Okay. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, "This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they bring near to YaHuWaH, beginning on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a daily grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It is made on a griddle with oil. Bring it in mixed. Bring the baked portions of the grain offering near, a sweet fragrance to YaHuWaH. And the anointed priest from among his sons, who is in his place, prepares it, a law forever to YaHuWaH. All of it has to be burned, and every grain offering for the priest is completely burned. It is not eaten. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, do you want to say something? Or not?
No,
No?
this is the offering, and you
Yeah.
know, and these are the important things that, you know, based on what you were mentioning before we start reading the portion, that it should make us think.
It's
Yes.
a law forever.
It's a law forever. If YaHuWaH is saying something is forever, you know, it's forever.
Until
Doesn't
he
mean
says something different.
And I haven't seen anything written that this kind of thing has been done away.
Well, maybe when we enter, if we can, to the kingdom, he said, well, you know, all that, no, you can stop it now. We don't know. But he's the only one, if he's saying something, he's the only person who can say if something is going to change. But I don't think, because he said he is not the kind of person, he's not human, change things.
And the other thing, you know, interesting here is that he's not doing any type of exception of people, no matter that the Kohanim were in a special service, they also were commanded to bring offerings. So let me put it this way: the ordinary people of Israel were commanded to bring different type of offerings, but the Kohanim that were put in that position, they were also commanded to bring the offering to YaHuWaH.
It's like a change.
Yeah, it's in changing. The same happened with the tithes, with the contribution, and so on. We'll read about this in the coming weeks. But the interesting thing here is that their offering is to be completely burned. It is not eaten. And we'll see that some of the offerings they were given as a contribution, as an inheritance for Aaron. We will read in the next chapter, I think.
Yeah, they must.
But this one, the one they are presenting, needs to be completely consumed.
Yeah.
And they were depending, the Kohanim, depending on the blessings from YaHuWaH through the people.
But
So basically to give away something that is precious to them too.
yeah, but I don't know why. I think that maybe the relation is that they eat from what they receive, but who is going to eat what they have to offer? They have to burn it, because that's the way that is going to go to YaHuWaH. Burn in the sweet, as a sweet fragrance.
True. 24.
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and to his son, saying, this is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the ascending offering is slain, the sin offering is slain before YaHuWaH, it is most set apart. The priest who is making atonement eats it. In the set apart place it is eaten. In the courtyard of the tent of appointment, all that touches its flesh is to be set apart. And when its blood is sprinkled on any garment, you washed that on which it was sprinkled in a set apart place. But the earthen vessel in which it is cooked is to be broken. And if it is cooked in a copper pot, then it is scoured and rinsed in water. Every male among the priests eats it. It is most set apart. And no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tent of appointment to make atonement in the set apart place is eaten. It is burned with fire.
So this is specifically talking about the sin offering. And if you remember, we were remembering early today about the story of the two sons of Aaron that died because of bringing strange fire. And then it was commanded to the two remaining sons, Itamar and Eleazar, to bring the sin offering. And Moshe just came to the Ohel Moed, the tent of appointment, and he realized and he saw that they have not eaten the sin offering, and he was mad.
Yeah.
And was that we see the connection and the discussion with between Aaron and Moshe.
Yeah.
But the point is that regarding the sin offering, in that story we see that they needed to eat the sin offering. And I think there is a kind of connection related to the atonement. They needed to eat it. They were doing atonement in representing on behalf of the person that was bringing the sin offering. So I think there's something connected to that. Not sure specifically what it is, but there is for sure there is a connection. So
maybe I don't know why, but maybe it's like when somebody is repenting of somebody's giving that offering, is kind of providing the food for the other person that is in a higher position or in a most close position to YaHuWaH. So and I think that in that way, from that point of view, Moshe saw that it was a kind of like not being considered with the offering that was presented, because, and as you said, it has to be completed. The action must be completed in order to receive the atonement for that sin. Yeah, but maybe that's the connection. I don't know.
Yeah, I just saw some comment from Shirion that is funny, but it's interesting at the same time. We're so used to products now in order to clean the clothes, and removing blood from the white cloth.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Only with very hot water, so that you need water and fire.
Yeah, but then maybe they were unable to remove it completely, and maybe they had also a purpose. And we will see in the next chapter what I'm trying to say. Maybe that the spot needed to be there for a reminder of something. Let's hold it, and I will take it in the next chapter. But the point is that here, coming back to the sin offering, there is all this explanation about the sin offering, but it's bringing a bat. Exactly, there was a specific sin offering that they supposed not to eat.
Yeah.
And that sin offering is specifically what is written in the verse 30th. Is related to the sin offering being brought in during Yom HaKippurim. Is the bull offering for the priest and the goat offering for the assembly. These are the one that they were taking the blood and they were bringing it into the Mishkan.
Yeah.
And they were bringing it to the kaporet, is to the what's the name in English? The lid of atonement, the lid of the ark of the covenant. That was that sin offering. It was not to be eaten, and that's the reference here. Yeah. So there is an exception to the rule. In this case, that the sin offering needs to be eaten, except this one that needs to be. There is a different process for that one. Okay, let's go to chapter 7. Let's see what we found here. So it says the following, and this is the Torah of the guilt offering. It is most set apart, and this is something also we saw. There is a specific distinction to some of the offerings. It's being named as most set apart offering to the grain offering, to the sin offering, and to the guilt offering. So the three of them are being considered the most set apart. And we need to study what's the meaning of that. I don't know the answer, but it's important to highlight it. It says the guilt offering is slain in the place where they slay the ascending offering, and its blood is sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. Then he brings from it all its fat, the fat tail, and the fat that cover the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage of the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as an offering made by fire to YaHuWaH. It is a guilt offering. Every male among the priests eats it. It is eaten in the set apart place. It is most set apart. The guilt offering is like the sin offering. There is one Torah for them both. The priest who makes atonement with it, it is his. And the priest who brings anyone's ascending offering, the skin of the ascending offering which he has brought is the priest's. It is his. So here we see basically the inheritance that YaHuWaH is given to the priest connected to the offering. So you are taking the best of the best that you have in your house, and the best of the best, it means that even the skin, you can use it for different purposes, and you are giving it away for the offering of YaHuWaH, and you see that the priest is taking it for him. So there's so much envy, and we see this, we will see in the story of Korah later, that in the heart of people, in is part of the sin of in our flesh, that sometimes we want to go opposite, in an opposite way to what YaHuWaH is commanding. And I think that's one of the main purposes of why he's doing all these offerings too, in order to teach us and to teach and to see what is in our heart. If we are willing to obey him, or if we are willing to continue being stiff-necked. I don't remember how to say it in Hebrew. How was it? Kasher fe. Something like that. Or to continue being stiff-necked and to disobey him. So you know, like a lovely father, he's using all of his Torah in order to teach us his way, in order to teach our heart. So, and one thing before continuing is, somebody of you has done a study about the difference between sin and guilt. That would be good for you, if you have it, to share it with us. I haven't done it personally, but it's something that is written. There is a difference between sin and guilt. And maybe it's something related to what you said in the chapter 6, that guilt was connected to the debts, the deposits, the pledge, and so on. But it's if any of you have done a study between, just to understand the differences between sin and guilt, it would be a blessing to that maybe you can share this with us. So Shirion, I know that you like to study and write, so you have done it. You are invited to share it.
Okay.
Karen, I know that you have done it. Maybe you like to study.
Camila also, she is very good with the otiot. And maybe
Camila is also
in Hebrew,
studying.
it has a very different.
So we are giving you some homework. Maybe you already did it.
Yeah,
if not, you have something in your list to study and to share with
helpful
us.
For the family, for the
Okay.
whole mishpacha.
Yes, no pressure, Shirion. So let's continue. And every grain offering in the verse 9 that is baked in the oven, and all that is prepared in the stewing pot or on the griddle, is the priest who brings it. It is his. And every grain offering mixed with oil or dry is for all the sons of Aaron, for all alike. So we see here a difference as well. One is for the specific Kohen that was bringing the offering, and the rest is to share.
Yeah, when it's not prepared, when it's the raw material, it's for everybody. But when it's already prepared, then it's for the priest. So it's like you have to see the priest, that he is a representation of YaHuWaH. So that's why they give the best for him and everything.
And then this totally somehow connected what we see in the Brit Hadashah. I think it was Shaul the one to mention this, and I think YaHuWaH too, is that the worker is the how is it?
Is worthy of the food.
Yes.
I don't know if it's worthy.
No, but it's another word. But you know what I'm talking about. So
it's rightful for him to take the food that is
exactly. And also we see in the book of Acts that the first believer were sharing as well between them. So we see the two examples. Similar to what we see here in this portion. So let's continue in the verse 11. And this is the Torah of the slaughtering of peace offering, which is brought to YaHuWaH. So this is a different type of offering. We see the ascending offering, we see the grain offering, we see the sin offering, we see the guilt offering, and now we see the peace offering. And actually the peace offering is being broken down in at least 2 or 3 types of peace offering. We see is the voluntary offering, is the vow offering, and then Thanksgiving is the first one that we'll see. So
it was a spoiler.
Yes, the 3 of them somehow are being named called
Peace offering.
peace offering. So it says, if he brings it for a thanksgiving, then he shall bring with the slaughtering of thanksgiving 11 cakes mixed with oil, and 11 thin cakes anointed with oil, or cakes of finely blended flour mixed with oil. Besides the cakes, he brings as his offering leavened bread. And this is the first time that we see leavened bread, challah, on the offerings, together with the slaughtering of thanksgiving of his peace offering. And from it he shall bring 1 cake from each offering as a contribution to YaHuWaH, to the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offerings. It is his. As for the flesh of the slaughtering of his peace offering for thanksgiving, it is eaten the same day it is offered. He does not leave any of it until morning. And this is so connected to Pesach.
Yeah.
Somehow, because Pesach is exactly the same. Is the same instruction. Is that they cannot leave anything until the morning. They needed to eat it everything the same day. Okay. And in this case, the same day. It's interesting. It's also considering that they allowing them to eat it during the night. That's basically the same thing with Pesach. My current understanding of the day, you know, this is basically only the daylight time. It's between sunrise to sunset. Night is a different measure of time. So a new day is starting in the morning.
Maybe this is similar to Pesach because they need to be thankful for being preserved. The lives during the kill of the firstborn. I don't know. Without knowing.
And Camila just started to do the study, you know, with Otiot.
Yeah. That's good, Camila.
So I think a good thing will come from that homework.
Yeah.
You know, we will collect, send it to me in the email. You will take a look if I cannot do it, and we will compile all things and we will share it with the rest. I think
because
it's gonna be a good compilation.
Yeah.
So it says in the verse 16, and if the slaughtering he brings is a vow or a voluntary offering. So you see here we have the 3 options of a peace offering. So first one was thanksgiving, second is a vow, or third is a voluntary offering. It is eaten the same day that he brings his slaughtering, and what is left of it is eaten the next day. So they are able to eat in 2 days. Not like the meat we left the other day that we are unable to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. But whatever is left of the flesh of the slaughtering on the 3rd day is burned with fire. So this is exactly what you will need to do, is burning with fire.
Yeah.
However, if any of the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offering is eaten at all on the 3rd day, it is not accepted. It is not reckoned to him who brings it. It is unclean to him. And the being who eats of it bears his crookedness. And the flesh that touches that which is unclean is not eaten. It is burned with fire. And as for the clean flesh, all who are clean eat of it. So again, it's a reinforcement of purity. We need to be tahor, we need to be clean in order to partake of the set apart things of YaHuWaH. If we are not clean, if we're in a clean situation, how we are going to be able to partake even in the outpouring of the Ruach? I remember, you know, what is written in the story with Cornelius, and what Peter is being told during the vision. YaHuWaH is telling him, don't call common or unclean what I have cleansed. So we need to seek for that cleansing from YaHuWaH in order to be able to partake on his word, on his set apart things. What happened with Cornelius? You know, YaHuWaH is telling Peter, I have cleansed them. And I think he's starting from the heart. Because that was the situation of Cornelius. He believed. He was seeking Elohim. And somehow YaHuWaH was preparing the ground to cleanse him completely.
Mm.
Because as soon as Peter came, what happened?
He baptized.
They received the word,
Mm.
and the
Yeah.
outpouring of the Ruach was
Mm,
upon them.
yeah.
So, and then they were immersed in water.
Water.
So it's a complete cleansing process.
Mm.
It was in the opposite way to
I
the other
was
one,
thinking about it.
but at the end they partake of the set apart things
Mm.
because of the cleansing coming from Abba. And this is exactly what we see here. You know, in order to partake, being priest of the things of the service of YaHuWaH, they needed to be clean.
Mm.
So that's the purity that we need to seek for in order for Abba to use us, in order to partake of his will, of his plan, of his service. So if you want to see the outpouring of the Ruach, I think we need to clean our heart first. We need to be in a continuous searching of a purity. We need to, day by day, we need to search out our hearts, the thoughts, our actions, asking Abba to open our eyes to reveal certain areas of our lives that maybe we are still unclean. And as soon as we are able to see and understand, to take the decision to remove this completely and to seek for that cleansing. And as soon as we are clean of heart, especially, we are going to get that outpouring. And you know, we talk about this at the beginning. This is something that we should be preparing ourselves. We talk about the preparations of the upcoming days. That the first thing we need to do is to prepare our heart, seeking for the outpouring of the Ruach of Elohim. That's the most important preparation. You know, and let me put this passage here. It says in the book of Daniel, the following about the day of distress, because if you read in the chapter 12 verse 1, it's talking specifically about the great tribulation, those days. It says in the verse 3, and those who have insight will shine like the brightness of the expanse. You know, this is a complete connection to Moshe, to Yahushua and the transfiguration. Is shining, but who? Those who have insight. And those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. So the main preparation is the preparation of the heart, to be clean of heart in order to do this during the time of tribulation. Is in order to lead many to righteousness, in order to be part of this group that is going to lead many to righteousness. What is the righteousness? Your Torah, Elohim, is the righteousness. You know, it will be righteousness to us when we do everything, all that is written. This is what it says in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 24 or 25, if I'm not wrong. It will be righteousness to us when we do everything that he has commanded to us. This is the Torah, the instruction. Connected, you know, to the cleansing process. Yahushua was talking about righteousness, and maybe I should do this study. You know, I have it in written form only, about what is righteousness. So we need to seek that righteousness, that cleansing of heart, to have a clean heart, in order to be part of that group is gonna lead many to righteousness, that that group is gonna shine, because we are having the insight. What insight? The insight of the truth of the word of YaHuWaH. So that's the main preparation. Let's go back, chapter 7, and I don't remember where I was reading now.
It's not only me.
Here. But the being who eats the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offering that belongs to YaHuWaH, while he is unclean, that being shall be cut off from his people. So it's a important thing to consider. To consider being clean. No, and I have a note here from last year, is that here is a confirmation of what we discussed back then in those years with Jake. what Jake Grant was sharing about what is written in the chapter 5 of the book of Leviticus about touching the unclean is a sin. Here is a confirmation. What he was sharing back then is that it's not that we are, when we touch something that is unclean, that is a sin. No.
It's a condition of being...
Being unclean is a condition of being, but no, it's not a direct sin. What is a sin is exactly what is written here. When we touch something that is set apart,
being
unclean.
And knowing that we are
unknowing. And even if we don't know, but later on we get to the realization that we were unclean when we touched a set apart thing, it's a sin.
Yeah.
And we need to bring the offering. And here we see the confirmation of that. So in this case, you know, if we are doing it in purpose, is to be cut off from his people. So being clean and unclean, tahor and tamei, is an important thing at the eyes, before the eyes of YaHuWaH. We should take it with priority and consideration. Being the servants of YaHuWaH. It says, and when a being who touches that which is unclean of the uncleanness of man, or of the uncleanness of beast, or of any unclean abomination, and shall eat the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offering that belongs to YaHuWaH, that being shall be cut off from his people. So it's important warning. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, do not eat any fat, or bull, or sheep, or goat, of bull, or sheep, or goat, and the fat of a dead body, and the fat of what is turned, is used for any purpose, but you do not eat it at all. For whoever eats the fat of the beast of which men bring as an offering made by fire to YaHuWaH, even the being who eats it shall be cut off from his people. And do not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, of bird or of beast. Any being who eats any blood, even that being shall be cut off from his people. So we are commanded not to eat blood,
nor fat.
Not to eat fat. I have always wondered why. The blood, I totally get it. Fat,
it's bad.
I don't get it yet.
It's bad for your body, for your arteries. It causing you the high cholesterol and all that.
It depends on the fat. You can be in a keto diet. It's a fat, but it's good fat.
No, but you can take the fat from the vegetables.
That's the point.
Because those are good for you. But from the animals, I think that maybe that fat has some toxins, something that your body cannot take the good things from it. So maybe it's not good.
I agree.
Yeah.
But spiritually speaking, I don't know what's the connection. But not to answer now, but this is an open question that maybe something to meditate on. So let's continue. Yeah, and actually it's late.
Yeah.
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, he who brings his slaughtering of peace offering to YaHuWaH brings his offering to YaHuWaH from the slaughtering of his peace offerings. With his own hands he brings the offerings made by fire to YaHuWaH. He brings the fat with the breast to be waved as a wave offering before YaHuWaH. And this is a confirmation of what we were speaking last week, that the one bringing the offering is the one slaying the animal, skinning the animal, cutting the animal, to remove it, everything that is being requested as part of the offering, and bring it to the priest. They were not able to get inside the courtyard.
Yeah.
So the priests were taking it and bringing it inside. So, and the priest shall burn the fat on the slaughter place, but the breast shall be Aaron's and his sons. And the right thigh you give to the priest as a contribution from the slaughtering of your peace offering. He among the sons of Aaron, who brings the blood of the peace offering and the fat, the right thigh is his portion. For the breast of the way offering and the thigh of the contribution I have taken from the children of Israel from the slaughtering of their peace offerings. and I give them to Aaron the priest and to his sons as a law forever from the children of Israel. This is the anointed portion for Aaron and the anointed portion for his sons from the offering made by fire to YaHuWaH on the day when Moshe presented them to serve as priests to YaHuWaH, which YaHuWaH commanded to be given to them by the children of Israel on the day that he anointed them, a law forever, again, a law forever, throughout their generations. This is the Torah of the sending offerings, of the grain offerings, and of the sin offering, and of the guilt offering, and of the ordinations, and of the slaughtering of peace offerings, which YaHuWaH commanded Moshe on Mount Sinai on the day when he commanded the children of Israel to bring their offerings to YaHuWaH in the wilderness of Sinai. So, they were having fun, the priests. They were doing barbecue every
they were
day.
having a lot of meat.
Yeah, I imagine them, in the same way that I'm doing when I'm doing barbecue, just cutting the meat and enjoying them. They were not allowed to drink wine while they were serving. So they were just enjoying the meat. Okay. And the last thing that it's interesting for me, it's an open question. So I will make it open for you so you can think and meditate on this as well. It's when first it is written that YaHuWaH commanded Moshe all the instructions about the offerings. Here is the confirmation, which YaHuWaH commanded Moshe on Mount Sinai on the day when he commanded the children of Israel to bring their offerings to YaHuWaH in the wilderness of Sinai. So when Moshe received this commandment, this instruction, was it when he was at the top of the mountain, when he received the 2 tablets of stones the first time?
After that.
It was the second time of the 40 days and 40 nights when he received the second set of tablets of stones, when he came down with the shiny face, or it was after in the Ohel Moed, in the tent of appointment, because it is written that even before they built the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the tent of Moses was considered the tent of appointment after the golden calf. And it says that YaHuWaH was going to speak to Moshe in there. So we have 3 alternatives. The first time in the top of the mountain, the second time at the top of the mountain, or later on in the tabernacle, in the tent of Moshe, or in the tabernacle itself.
B or C.
B or C?
Yeah, but I think that is coming, everything, it was related to the sin that they commit. And it was because it was mentioned also the sin that the priest was doing. And at that time, Aaron, even though he was not ordained, he was considered that was going to be the priest. So he was sinning when he was participating in all the calf idol and the
I'm with you. I think I don't have the answer, but I think it wasn't the first time. It could be that maybe it was after. For sure, it was after the golden calf situation. That's my belief. But I'm not so sure it was when he was at the top of the mountain or later on. And there's a few scriptures that talking about this. Is that when YaHuWaH is saying that I didn't ask for the slaughtering.
And I think that
it was on the first time.
And I think that that is the thing, that it was not a requirement because he wanted, it was the solution because of the sin. And
that's why it's important to understand this at the light. This is a study on itself, at the light of what I said previously, what is written in the book of Ezekiel, that these offerings are going to be restored somehow in the temple. To what was the intention of all of this? It was given on the first encounter between Moshe and him, or the second one, or later on. Okay, so let's continue with the last one. Let's read it. And
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and the bull of the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread.
So this is a kind of zoom in.
Yeah, now.
Onto what in the final chapter of the book of Exodus, when it's written, when it was the ordination of the priest, and we're putting the cloth, and they were the setting up the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and so on. He's a kind of
doing. Yeah.
it's a the other one also was the doing, but the here is an expanded version, a kind of zoom in of what there was happening.
And the basket of unleavened bread, and assemble all the congregation at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe did as YaHuWaH commanded him. And the congregation was assembled at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe said to the congregation, This is the word YaHuWaH commanded to be done. So Moshe brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water, and put the long shirt on him, and girded him with a girdle, and dressed him in the robe, and put the shoulder garment on him, and girded him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. And with it tied the shoulder garment on him, and put the breastplate on him, and put the Urim and the Tumim in the breastplate, and put the turban on his head. And on the turban, on its front, he put the golden plate, the set-apart sign of dedication, as YaHuWaH had commanded Moshe.
Kodesh LeYaHuWaH, set apart to YaHuWaH.
And Moshe took the anointed oil and anointed the dwelling place and all that was in it, and set them apart. And he sprinkled some of it on the slaughter place 7 times, and anointed the slaughter place and all its utensils, and the basin and its base, to set them apart. And he poured some of the anointed oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him to set him apart. And Moshe brought the sons of Aaron, and put long shirts on them, and girded them with girdles, and put turbans on them, as YaHuWaH had commanded Moshe. And he brought the bull for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull for the sin offering. And it was slain. And Moshe took the blood, and put some on the horns of the slaughter place all around with his finger, and cleansed the slaughter place. And he poured the blood at the base of the slaughter place, and set it apart, to make atonement for it. And he took all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and Moshe burned them on the slaughter place. And the bull and its skin, and its flesh, and its tongue, he burned with fire outside the camp, as YaHuWaH had commanded Moshe. And he brought the ram of the ascending offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram.
So 3 offerings is the bull and 2 rams, right?
Yeah. And it was slain. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on the slaughter place all around. And he cut the ram into pieces. And Moshe burned the head and the pieces and the fat. And he washed the entrails and the legs in water. And Moshe burned the entire ram on the slaughter place. It was an ascending offering for a sweet fragrance, and an offering made by fire to YaHuWaH, as YaHuWaH had commanded Moshe.
You know, it's interesting, just came to my mind, that they were washing the entrails here. You know?
And I think that it's inside.
Yeah, for sure, what is inside. But Yahushua, when he was referring to the Ruach, he was saying that we are going to feel
like
rivers of living water from our belly.
From our belly.
And it's exactly on this area, in the area of the entrails. So I think it's a beautiful connection, especially when you remember we were talking about the washing of the feet. Those was the 2 areas that we see here. It's a washing the entrails and the legs in water. Could it be that maybe this is a connection to the Ruach, or the water of the Ruach, that needs to, I have been wondering always about the belly. When you feel the presence of the Ruach in a strong way, you feel that something is coming from here, from inside. So I do believe that Yahushua was referring to an somehow physical experience as well. But I'm wondering, now that you were reading, that maybe there is a connection here.
I think, I don't know if it's grown or not, but usually there are some things that you can feel in different part of your body. I was once talking with my mom, and we were discussing about when you feel joy, when it's sadness. Usually sadness, or maybe a more sad situation, you feel it here in your heart. But usually when you have joy or things like that, even though you feel it here, but it's coming from the belly area. And I think that's why maybe in English they call it feeling butterflies in the stomach and things like that, because if in that area, and there are some people who really can identify that with the music, with the vibration, and you can do that kind of exercise.
But that's the connection with the saying of the gut feeling, you know.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago I read an article that was saying, it was writing a scientific article. They were talking about the second brain, and they were referring as the second brain as the intestines. Actually, when you see the pictures of the drawings, and it's a kind of a similar shape.
And the shape is
of
similar.
the brain.
Yeah, because they have the.
And you know, in this article, the scientists were describing that there is a type of connection, and actually, I think they found neurons. Neurons is the cell, of the brain. In that area, a type of.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah.
So there was I think we saw a video about this recently, but I read this article 10, 15 years ago, something like that. So all this saying about the gut feeling is because there is a connection between our brain and our intestine, our entrails somehow. That is the source of the thoughts, to say so. So it is interesting what you're saying, and also connecting this to the experience of the Ruach, what people call the intuition. I think there is something more deep, spiritually speaking, on all of this and this connection.
Yeah.
So I think you were here.
Okay, so I finished that.
Yeah.
And he brought the second ram, the ram of ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and it was slain. And Moshe took some of its blood and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And he brought near the sons of Aaron. And Moshe put some of the blood on the tip of their right ears, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on their slaughter place all around. Well, we know by hearing your actions, where you are walking, where you're going. And took the fat, and all the fat tail, and all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the two kidneys, and the fat, and the right eye. And from the basket of unleavened bread that was before YaHuWaH, he took one unleavened cake, and a cake of bread anointed with oil, and one thin cake, and put them on the fat and on the right eye, and placed all this in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and waved them as a wave offering before YaHuWaH.
So he made a sandwich.
Yeah, the way it was on the top, yeah. Only with the top.
Maybe he put it in the bottom too.
Yeah,
maybe, because he was giving it to him.
Or
maybe it was a kind of sandwich.
Maybe it was the first hamburger.
Maybe it was the...
I don't know.
Okay.
Moshe then took them into their hands, and here, yeah. Moshe then took them from their hands and burned them on the slaughter place, on the ascending offering. They were ordinations for a sweet fragrance. It was an offering by fire to YaHuWaH. And Moshe took the breast and waved it, a wave offering before YaHuWaH. It was Moshe's portion of the ram of ordination, as YaHuWaH had commanded Moshe. And Moshe took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood, which was on the slaughter place, and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garment, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him.
And you know, this was exactly what I was referring to before.
Yeah.
Was sprinkling oil and blood
Yeah.
on their garments as part of the ordination process. Can you imagine how was
I think that the oil is more difficult to remove than the blood.
so I told you that I was putting on hold something that we discussed, and that this is exactly what I was referring to. Maybe they were unable to remove those kind of things. There was a spot as a remembrance of the ordination. It's not a bad spot. It's not something, I don't know, dark to say so. It's a remembrance of the ordination process. And that it's somehow maybe connected to what we see in the book of YaHuWaH, Isaiah chapter 63.
But in some part it says that they have to wash their
We just in the previous
in
one
the
we were reading that in case that there were a spot with blood, they needed to wash it.
Yeah. So maybe it was at the beginning. They were with that clothes during the 7 days, and after that they have to wash it.
Yeah, because you know what is written here? Who is this coming from Edom with garments of glowing colors from Bozrah, who is robed in splendor, striding forward in the greatness of his strength? It is I who speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Why is there red on your raiment, and your garments like one who treads in the winepress? Have trodden the winepress alone, and from the peoples no one was with me. And I trod them down in my displeasure, and I trampled them in my wrath. Their blood is sprinkled upon my garments, and I have defiled all my raiment. So
maybe during those days they have to keep like the garments like that, but after that I think that they have to wash it.
Yes.
Because
but
there is another.
They were washing it, but maybe it was not completely or easily removed. So maybe they were able to see part of the what was there.
Know. But if you wash with the really boiled water, you can remove it.
You can remove it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the oil is the same. It's going to be removed with very
hot water.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
Yeah.
What it was? You remember? No.
Yeah, and Moshe.
With him here.
Okay, where?
31.
And Moshe said to Aaron and his sons, "Cook the flesh at the door of the tent of appointment, and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of the ordinations, as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it. Then burn the rest of the flesh and the bread with fire. And do not go outside the door of the tent of appointment for 7 days, until the days of your ordination are completed. For he fills your hands for 7 days. YaHuWaH has commanded to do as he has done this day, to make atonement for you. And stay at the door of the tent of appointment day and night for 7 days. And you shall guard the duty of YaHuWaH and not die, for so I have been commanded." And Aaron and his sons did all the words that YaHuWaH had commanded by the hands of Moshe.
A beautiful picture. And I have always thought that this is something that connected to this waiting time for the second coming of Mashiach. He's our high priest. And as we see here in the case of Aaron and this part of ordination, they were commanded not to go out of the tabernacle during a certain period of time. This case was 7 days. Maybe Mashiach is on the same process. He's not able to come back until certain period
that he
is completed. It's being filled. And the good thing is that based on the signs, that period is coming to an end.
Yeah.
So he's coming soon. There's no doubt. So maybe it's somehow connected. Is he in that ordination process? Maybe, I don't know. That's why maybe he's waiting for the time to come. I really believe that that time is coming soon. We will see what's upcoming this year. You know what? I'm gonna come back to the first thing we were discussing, but I do believe that this year and next one are gonna be critical years that we will see, maybe not as I was depicted in the timeline, in a sequential way. I think it's gonna work in a parallel way where we will see many things happening in parallel, unfolding in parallel.
Yeah.
And it's going to be such a confusion for everybody in this world that's why we need to be open eyes, open ears, understanding the signs, so in order not to get confused.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was a good study. Have nothing else to share today. Do you? No?
No, it's okay.
Very good. So I saw, the chat moving really fast. They just picked some of the comments. It seems that they were really entertained doing some progressing on the homework.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good to have this interaction and to see how a lovely family we have. So we will keep it until here. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today, for your love, your support, the words. Chag Sameach, enjoy the feast days, no matter when you are celebrating, as I said.
And I know that Abba also is giving us that feast for our benefit, because it's proven, and if there is somebody who knows about medical issues, that at least give a week to our bodies without leaven is very good for us, because it prevents cancer and a lot of diseases.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
and we are gonna end this broadcast like we always do with a song, but it's gonna be in a special way, because I was contacted. I don't know if he's here, by the new brother in our mishpacha, that I think he's in the process of coming out from Christianity, and he started recently to walk in the ancient path. So he's a new born baby, to say so. And he's a musician, and he was sharing with me part of his music. Nice. And I want to share it. It's a nice title. I think you will like it. And if he's here, I will invite all of you. And even he's not here, I will invite all of you. His name is Barry Hansen, to embrace him and to help him in his work. I have a few emails that I need to answer him, that he was asking about the modeling. I intend to answer the emails after this one, after this broadcast. But for the new believers that are coming and started the walk in YaHuWaH, we need to act as the big brothers, and we need to help them. So you need to walk with him, walk with anybody that is new, in order to show in our own examples and our own experiences how to walk the way of YaHuWaH. So we're going to finish this one with one of his songs. Let me put it here, and I hope you will like it. In the meantime, keep enjoying the feast, keep enjoying the presence of YaHuWaH, keep studying the word. Karen, Camila, Chirion, you have a homework to do, so you need to do an extra effort in order to...
And anybody who wants to participate.
And anybody that wants to join in that homework is more than welcome. Yeah. Send us your findings later on by email. And we hope to see you next week in the continuation of the study. Yeah. So thank you so much. YaHuWaH be with you. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
See you next week. Bye.
If you've been walking the same old road for miles and miles, if you've been hearing the same old voice tell the same old lies, if you've been trying to fill the same old holes inside, there's a better life. There's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison savior. We've all searched for the light of day in the dead of night. We've all found ourselves worn out from the same old fight. And we've all run to things we know that just ain't right. When there's a better life, there's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify, yeah. If you believe it, and you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify, testify. If you believe it, and you receive it, and you can feel it, somebody testify. You got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. Oh, if you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker.